Okay, and we're live. Hi guys, welcome back to Cryptonite Corner with a live AMA with FOHO COIN. FOHO COIN allows sharing of real estate using the blockchain technology. So we have today with us Roshan De Silva and Vijay Thomas, the co-founders and the founders of FOHO COIN. So they've joined us today for an AMA where we'll be able to ask them certain questions about their projects, get right into it, and let's begin. So before we begin, can you just briefly introduce yourselves to the audience and give us a background about yourself prior to crypto, maybe, or prior to FOHO?
Sure. Vijay, you want to go
Roshan,
first?
you want to go? Okay, I can go first. Roshan's just a few years younger than me, but he kind of treats me a little bit like an old guy. But I'll go first. My name is Vijay Thomas. I am a co-founder of the FOHO. We started FOHO nearly 2 years back in 2019, and at that point I didn't have Roshan. It was just me. I run a software company called Tangentia. We're a global software company out of Toronto with offices in India and in the US. We started FOHO.house as a fractional home ownership platform. We were actually buying homes and fractionalizing them, making them into 10, 12 fractions. I thought we were democratizing real estate. And actually, magazines wrote up about us. But come 2021, I ran into Roshan, and Roshan runs Asia's largest holiday home management company and platform company. And we got talking, and we decided we want to take this on the blockchain. And now a holiday home or a home villa can now be split into 10,000 fractions. Now a $2 million apartment in New York overlooking Central Park can now be bought by 10,000 people for like $200 each. This is true democratization in our thing. So I stand corrected, and we will get to know a little more. But over to you, Roshan.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Vijay. Everyone, just to give you a quick introduction, my name is Roshan. I grew up in a very tiny country called Qatar, moved to India in '96 to study and graduate from the IIT in Bombay. Pretty much turned an entrepreneur immediately afterwards, and from 2010 have been very intimately involved in the real estate space. I am the founder of a company called Trip Villas, which is like an Airbnb for Asia. We are also unique in that we physically manage about 5,000 properties, and we have co-developed and created about 8,000 properties which have been sold with our management in place across Asia. The largest of these communities, through the pandemic, we've been very, very fortunate that a lot of people have chosen to, instead of staying in hotels, to stay in vacation homes. So we've actually opened two large properties during the pandemic, one in Goa and another very close to Bombay. We're looking forward to the FOHO experience and bringing really unique, beautiful, high income properties to the investors on the FOHO platform. Thanks.
Wow, awesome. So we've basically taken our centralized experience and implemented it into the decentralized space. That's I like what you did there.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited. I mean, as I said, not very often would a entrepreneur say, "I was wrong," and we've corrected it. So we're really excited. But this is a whole different level, of scale. It's and the ability. We truly see ourselves as going at this country by country, state by state, and until we can potentially make this a whole global platform.
I agree. I completely agree. But tell us a bit about your project. So what is FOHO all about, and what's your mission behind it?
I think
why do we need this?
Absolutely. Great question. And Roshan, I'll take the initial part, and then you can get a little bit of detail there. But the world needs FOHO. Why? 3 or 4 different reasons. Number one, go to most parts, and Slate, you live in Australia, and you probably already know that the frothy real estate market in Australia, most of the large cities have made it unaffordable for some of the younger people, and for the general public to buy real estate anymore. It is bloody expensive. So it is there's going to be a whole new generation of people that will not be able to afford real estate in the present state that it is, right? People, how many people can put out the $1 million that you need to buy? I live in Toronto, Canada, and we've got probably the frothiest real estate market in the world. I mean, Australia and New Zealand come close second, but that's, I think, the way the future is going to be. There's more and more people in this world. Real estate, and from a demand supply standpoint as well, real estate is going to continue to be unaffordable. That's number one. Number two, real estate is a very micro subject, micro geography. So you need to understand pockets of the real estate business. Even if you did have the money and you invested all your money in a property near Bondi Beach in Sydney, and suddenly something changes around Bondi Beach, and your property goes down in value. Guess what? You did not have geographical diversification in your portfolio. But with something like this, you could have something you could have maybe $10,000 on that property on Bondi Beach, $10,000 on a property in Miami Beach, someplace in Thailand, someplace in Sri Lanka. So you could build a diversified portfolio that allows you to invest in multiple properties. The third big problem is real estate in most parts of the world is connected with the government. You've got land registries, you've got all that different things that people don't really like dealing with, a lot of paperwork. So basically, if somebody took that monkey off your back, did all the paperwork, and provided you a very clean front-end platform by which you could buy and sell fractions, why wouldn't you do that? So basically, we've made affordability possible, taking the whole legal monkey off your back, and basically providing diversification. So I think these are three big ones, and all of that adds to democratization of real estate. And we're going live because we started a lot of our initial properties in India. We're going live trading on the 15th of August. And those of you who might not know this, the 15th of August is Indian Independence Day. So we want to really tie this on with a historic event, and it's India's 75th Independence Day. So 2021, 15th August, and on that day we go live on BitBNS, and so that's, we definitely think we're solving a huge problem. We're starting in India, so we're saying in India, but globally. Roshan, sorry if I stole some of your thunder.
No, not at all. So I echo whatever Vijay's said. In real estate, as you know, that it's very difficult there's a lot of friction to making an investment, and by using the smart contract and merging it with our our mobile interface, we expect to make it very hassle-free, and people don't need to watch every step, because they know that it's a standard governance model. No matter which country, they know that certain basic platform rules will be adhered to, and that will make it, in our opinion, more easy, more frictionless, and will give people access to a wider variety of opportunities for wealth creation. Slate?
That's great.
Sure. I see there's some questions there, Slate. So, there's a question from York Emilia on what are your current plans to onboard new clients and what markets are you targeting? So, as Vijay just mentioned, we're initially going live with support for properties in India, Sri Lanka, and Canada. There are the initial set of IEO investors can be from multiple countries, but the properties will be in these three to begin with in the pilot phase. We're launching, guaranteed income products from a leading developer, which is the Dusitani property in Sri Lanka, very reputed real estate development in Goa called the Aldiati Goa, and with Tata Housing in Dabolim, which is right next to the airport in Goa. And we expect to keep launching these properties in these geographies, gain more traction, and then launch in other geographies as outlined in the white paper.
I really like the model. I like what you're doing, and I like the structure of it. And more importantly, what features are you actually implementing that proves to be decentralized, or how are you integrating blockchain technology? Are people going to purchase homes with cryptocurrency, or how does it work exactly?
Yeah. So
you want to do that, Roshan?
Yeah, sure. So essentially what we've done is we have put in place an overall marketplace approach, which means that we don't control the deals that come onto the platform. We've put in a layer of users called the sponsors, which is basically users who have earned their place by staking a certain number of FOHO coins or FOHO tokens in order to achieve that, to get to that tier on the platform. Anybody can come and submit a deal. So either a sponsor can submit a deal or a seller can come and submit a deal. However, every deal requires to get sponsorship, which means any sponsor has to commit to buying 10% of the value of the property, and to remaining locked into that investment for a minimum period of 12 months, and to uploading their investment thesis onto the platform. Once this is done, it then appears to all the rest of the users on the platform. They can then diligence it jointly. They can ask questions to the seller, or they can ask questions to the sponsor. And then finally, they have a 60-day window in which to subscribe to that opportunity. Once that is done, the opportunity closes. Due diligence is done by the users. And then, as long as due diligence passes, the property transacts through a standard set of documents, and the title is conveyed to the legal infrastructure put in by FOHO, and then the ownership is issued to the fractional investors. Hypothetically, we can have one investor do the whole thing. So you can actually buy property using the FOHO ecosystem, as opposed to it being a fractional model. Vijay, I think you're on mute.
Yes. So no, I was saying absolutely, as Roshan mentioned. We've got 4 parts to our FOHO platform. Number 1 is the FOHO coin, which is like the lifeblood of the FOHO ecosystem. It is a utility token that allows you entry in the FOHO ecosystem. It's very similar. I say, like you go to a village fair in different parts of the world, or in India they call it the Mela. You go to the Mela or the village fair. At the gates of the village fair, you get some coupons or tokens which you can then use to go into the fair, have a ride on the Ferris wheel, play some games, buy yourself lunch, dinner, whatever you might want to do. Now that is akin to the FOHO coin. So the FOHO coin allows you entry into the FOHO ecosystem. So, and then within the FOHO ecosystem, we have 3 different platforms. One is the FOHO.house, which is a blockchain-based residential real estate marketplace. So this is the decentralized again. People in every geography can bring in their own properties, put them on board, see if there's interest, see if other people are going to buy the fractions in their property. Real estate developers can bring their properties on board. I give this example. Let's say if somebody's putting up a new condominium tower in Manhattan, they can say, the first 90 we'll have, out of 100 stories, 90 stories are sold the traditional legacy way. 10 stories can be sold fractional. So the builder can bring those 10 stories onto the FOHO platform, and that can be bought by people. So that's one thing. So it's very decentralized, and then the people who buy it can also see every detail about their platform, see about their investment, what is the taxes paid, what is the cost. So everything from a ledger perspective that's connected to the property is available. So that's FOHO.house. The third one is FOHO.work, which is very similar to FOHO.house, but this is for commercial properties. Think of this even as office space in Mumbai, office space in Sydney, office space in New York, office space in London. So people can buy fractional office space. People can buy, even asset classes like cell phone towers. You can buy cell phone towers in Kenya, in India, in Australia, in the outback. You could have cell phone towers and still making money because people, the cell phone companies are paying money on a continuous basis. So these are very high yield products that I think we can now bring to the general public that was not available before. And the fourth and last portion of our FOHO ecosystem is FOHO.club. Now, FOHO.club is different in the sense it's all about usage. It's not about ownership. Now, I'll give you a use case. I live in Toronto, Canada. My daughter goes to university in Montreal, and which is around 5 hours away. She's in first year university, I travel to Montreal quite often, and I always wondered, are the other people in the same boat as I am that travel to Montreal probably very often, and probably have thought, could we have a nice place in Montreal? When we go in there, we don't stay in a hotel, we don't stay in an Airbnb, but we have some place to call home, and then I say we could go and rent a place in a nice location. I put that on the FOHO.club and say, is there other people interested in sharing the rental? So it's usage. And then maybe 20 other families get together. We create a club. We have rules of the club. We put in the money, pay the rental for the year or as it is. And at the end of the year or during the year, if it's not available at some point, somebody takes the lead. If none of the club members are going to it there, we put it out on Airbnb or on Trip Villas, and you get some income as well. At the end of the year, you divvy up your income, and then you decide whether you want to carry on with the club or not. So these are the different components, and everything is decentralized. You said every club has its own governance, every property has its own governance, and it's truly decentralized. Roshan,
I really like the model. I like that you've split it. It's very intriguing that you've actually isolated the commercial property and privatized property, which is really important because you're going to be targeting different niche. You're going to be targeting different people. Yeah, different investors, whatnot. We've got a question. Let's maybe answer the question. So, sure. What are the ways for your project to generate revenue in the long run? What is the progress of business development? What are some of your commercial partnerships by Nunavi?
Sure.
Yes. So essentially, we make revenue from two ways. One is by fees from the tokenization of the properties. So essentially, whenever a property comes onto the platform and the deal or the transaction closes, in order for providing the technology infrastructure and the platform for this, FOHO charges a set of platform fees, which is essentially our revenue model. Similarly, in the FOHO.club model, we charge organization fees, which is essentially for the use of the platform by the organizer. Certain fees are paid to the FOHO ecosystem. We've done multiple. We've seen fantastic uptake on the business development. We are about to announce a partnership with one of the largest co-working firms where they will accept the FOHO coin towards payments and bookings of co-working spaces within their network. Similarly, they will be also putting in their co-working spaces where people can invest and get a fractional ownership in them on the platform. We've already announced a partnership with Trip Villas, where Trip Villas will be allowing you to book a holiday home using the FOHO coin. And similarly, we will also allow fractional ownership of some of the units within communities which are managed by Trip Villas. So we're seeing fantastic uptake on the biz dev, and it is. However, it's in our interest to be slow and steady because we want to be watchful and careful about the kind of deals we bring onto the platform. Vijay, do you want to add to that?
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, as slow and steady wins the race. Roshan and I both run very successful companies already, and one thing in common is we've taken our time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Both of us is this is one of our first times we're raising capital or going to the public in this skill. So this is new for us. We're now trying to embrace some of the newer technologies out there. So this is almost an old school business model, embracing the new, and I think that's where this is fantastic for not just for the crypto world, guys, but also we think we're going to be pioneers, or we're kind of a little ahead of the curve. I sometimes see problems convincing people that this is, and people told us, why do you need crypto? And I said, this is definitely the way to go, because we are decentralizing everything. And so as Roshan mentioned, from a generate revenue perspective, we see ourselves as a Airbnb, as an Uber. The platform is going to make money. The platform does provide value to the people. We're doing the tokenization. We're doing the fractionalization of the property. So it is going to be quite a lucrative business. And as it goes along, I think we will be definitely cash flow positive. Not just cash flow positive. I think we should make significant money as well. And we're so confident about that we're going to have 25% of our revenue. And I say that again, 25% of revenue, not profit, will be taken out every month for buybacks and burn. So we are very confident of our model.
And tell us a bit about I know you haven't done the sale yet for the IEO. Can you tell us about your tokenomics? Can you tell us about your sale? If people want to invest, how do they go about it? And tell us about your vesting periods.
Thank you. And this is where Roshan went to the top engineering school in India, and he's the guy with the numbers. So I will bow down here to Roshan. Roshan, you can take over.
Sure. So I think we have quite a bit of this outlined in the white paper. So I'll encourage people to visit FOHOcoin.com and check out the white paper. Let me go through some of the things that I think people should notice. So firstly, I think people should notice that pretty much as compared to any other cryptocurrency, nearly 50% of all FOHO coins are being issued for cash at the market value. The only time where it's not being issued for at market value is the IEO, where we've set a price of 10 cents. So essentially that, in our opinion, sets a floor for the price of the token. The second thing is that if you look at the release of the balance 50% of the which is what you alluded to in terms of vesting, you will see that pretty much up to the 36-month mark, the cash purchase tokens account for 95% of the tokens in the ecosystem. The rest of the tokens, which is the management tokens, etc., really kick in post the 30-month mark towards the 48-month mark. So as compared to the usual crypto kind of projects where the lock-in is typically 18 months, we are actually committing for a lock-in which is nearly 2.5 times that. So that should give comfort, and that shows that we have our interests in building value, and pretty much all the other tokens come in post the 24, 30-month mark, and so that should give second level of comfort. The other thing is that on one side the supply is constrained. The second part is that essentially of the money being raised in the IEO, nearly 55% is being used towards sales and marketing and PR and really building demand for the token. So essentially that is nearly 50% of the capital is being used towards actually building value or building demand, which has an upward pressure on the price of the token. Next, if you look at the kind of volume of deals in real estate, remember that our transactions are not linked to the yield on the real estate. They're actually linked to the capital value of the properties. So, that again, gives a significant revenue base, and 25% of that actually is a very, very large amount of money, which we have we have not said that it's 25% of profits of the platform. It's 25% of all revenues of the platform, which is actually a significant amount which is used towards buybacks and burns and things like that. So broadly, that's the tokenomics, but I would urge everyone to do a thorough job and to actually look at the white paper and go through it in more detail.
And then
Awesome.
anybody watching Slate, I'm going to ask a question. What is the biggest business in the world? Okay, just a question. People can take some time if you want to, write back on YouTube. Please do. What is the biggest business in the world? Okay, so the biggest business in the world. Slate, you want to have a go?
Tesla.
No, the biggest business in the world is the real estate business. It is the property business.
You mean the niche?
The niche. No. The value. The most. There is probably 20, 30, 40 trillion dollars in real estate globally. We're talking about what we're trying to do here is fractionalize the largest industry in the world. Okay,
we've got some answers. We've got some answers. They said real estate business. So
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
We've answered already. Naeem's a question earlier, so I think I've already asked that question. Let's move on to the second question.
Sure.
Where Amina asked.
Yeah. So essentially, there, Amina, our project is we're launching on the launch on Ascent platform, which is by BitBNS, which is already audited and certified, and our smart contract is similarly on the Ethereum blockchain and is certified on it. So these are all well established kind of protocols, and they have been audited and penetration tested by multiple agencies over time. So we don't at the same time, of course, all of these are major issues. We need to be continuously watchful, and we will endeavor to make sure that it's very secure and private, etc. On the DeFi features like staking, yield farming, and NFTs, all of them are coming in one form or the other. This is also linked to, I think, another question that we'll take next. But you will be able to lock your FOHO coins and earn from it, and you will be able to participate in special vaults where the FOHO coins in those vaults will be then used to invest in real estate and finance real estate and provide a steady yield to those investors.
This is brilliant. I really like the idea.
Just to add a little bit, Slate, sorry, just to add a little bit, additional flavor there. So my company, so Tangential, the company that I run, I like to say as a day job, and this is something I started off, but it's taking more of my time now. And I am not complaining. It's fantastic and excellent. But we already used to have a blockchain consulting practice, and so we already understand the security of it. So Tangential, you can go and check out Tangential, TANGENTIA.com. We're SOC 1 certified, SOC 2 certified, we're ISO 9001, ISO 27001. So all that great stuff that people expect is already there. So we're going to. People said shoot from the shoulders of others. So we're basically going to leverage a lot of the hard work and investments that are done over the last 17, 18 years. And I think, work on that.
Great stuff, guys. Great stuff. I might have to invest in FOHO myself.
You should. Absolutely. And if we've also got private placements. So if the number is more than $25,000 US, we have some bonus, coins as well. But let us know. We definitely like to have Slate on our side.
Slate, me and Vijay are from the generation, where if you go to parties, you always meet that person who said that, I came up with the idea for Hotmail before Sabir Bhatia, or I came up with the idea for Facebook before Mark Zuckerberg, So a lot of people think, very few people actually risk and make the big bucks,
For sure, and that's where you're heading. So let's move on to the next question. It's a very good question by 43248. Will FOHO also finance loans for property in case someone is buying a property that is listed in FOHO ecosystem, or is FOHO is FOHO going to be a finance business too, or are we just sticking to a marketplace, something like?
This is a great question, and we are launching the mortgage product. So we are a decentralized platform. So what we will allow people to do is to say that they can finance other people who want to buy properties on the FOHO ecosystem, and they can basically set certain rules that the person who's lending, who's borrowing the money, has to have a certain percentage of equity in the token, and all rentals of the token get paid to the lender, and the token is mortgaged, and in case the token's value goes below a certain amount, then it gets liquidated, they get paid. And so there will always be people who and real estate is most naturally bought on an EMI or on a regular SIP basis. So, but we will not be the financiers. We will be providing the platform and introducing the mortgage product, which then people will be able to, FOHO coin holders will be able to participate and be the mortgage lenders themselves.
Yeah, and we also, if you go and check out our light paper or our white paper, we also allow financiers or banking intermediaries to get involved. So let's take an example in Australia, and Standard Chartered Bank could be the prime person, our partner in Australia. In Hong Kong, it could be HSBC. So it could be different geographies. You could have different banks, because the banks will lend on the basis of the property, because the property has value. As I said, if you have a apartment in New York for $2 million, the New York apartment is split into 10,000 fractions of $200 each. A bank could say, you know what, we'll give you $150. You got to put in 50, or we'll give you all 200, but then we need to do a credit check on you, or you got to do something, or you got to have enough money in your savings account. So we will leave that to the intermediaries to figure out how they want to do it, but we provide the platform that lends itself to allowing this to being possible. So that's where we see our role. We're not in the lending business, but we're in the technology. We're a technology platform that's going to revolutionize, and democratize real estate investing and usage worldwide. And by doing so, we will bring in all the required participants. In fact, we are also thinking of getting on board, legacy, market participants like real estate brokers. People says, where would real estate brokers go? I said, no, they'll go nowhere. They can start selling fractions. If there's a real estate agent that's selling that property on Bondi Beach in Sydney, he can now be selling fractions of that property in Bondi Beach. He now makes the same amount of commission, but he probably has to work a little harder, or he's got to embrace newer models and techniques, and maybe social media and digital marketing, but he sells the very similar way. So I think that's the key. So absolutely, to answer the question, finance loans definitely possible. Our technology already allows us to bring intermediaries on board in different cities and different intermediaries, and this could even be by province, by state, right? So it could be very different.
Good response, and great stuff, Vijay. Great stuff, Roshan. We'll take one more question before we move on to our last question from myself. So Mrs. Hamurai, so I think it's Jainan Hamurai, asked, according to the roadmap, what are your most important next priorities? Does your team have enough funds and strong community to achieve those milestones? It's a very great question, because
it's a repetitive question, Slate. We get this in every AMA, so it's like a copy paste question. Let's let's take another one.
But I can just add a little bit. Just so the next priority, I think just is first getting our India, Sri Lanka, and Canada pilot out of the door. Once we got that out of the door, we've tested. Again, there is I kind of joke, we've got to go around state by state, province by province, and do this. but don't empathize with us too much. We actually have it easier than Uber and Airbnb, because they had to go city by city. A lot of the rules for temporary housing or for the taxi business was city by city. So
it's a challenging task, though. It's a challenging task,
it is.
and it requires a lot of marketing as well. So
it does.
I believe development side, building a marketplace is a lot easier than marketing it. How what are we doing about the marketing, and how much funds have we raised so far for the project?
Yeah. So I would take this opportunity to also announce we've made our soft cap just in private placements. So our soft cap was 1.5 million. So we've already had 2 million in just private placements, and our initial raise is 8.5 million. So based on everything that we've seen, I think for the initial the pilot and the initial build of the platform, I think we are okay with what we have. And
that's
as
incredible.
That's
really, really good.
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, we're old school business people, and I will almost hazard saying this. I have attended Warren Buffett's Omaha Berkshire Hathaway annual general meetings, which in today's crypto world, people will say, "Hey, this guy is really old." But we do have some real old business smarts that we're now trying to marry with crypto world agility and technology. So I think it is a great combination.
Great stuff. And
just to point out, we've actually built, like at Tripwillers, it's also, what we're building here is what's called a two-sided marketplace, which has both supply and demand side. So you have investors on one side and you have the property sellers on the other side. And we've pretty much done the same thing at Tripwillers, because we have the hosts on one side and you have the travelers on the other side. So we have the experience in building these kind of two-sided marketplaces and getting them to liquidity.
Great response.
And Roshan's a little modest. His Tripwillers also got investment from the Singapore Sovereign Fund. So we're actually definitely have investors, like real marquee investors, global investors, and we will be making a couple more announcements. So this is definitely going to be a great project. Big, large, in real estate investing companies globally, large, just investors. We're talking to some large investors. So this is if I may say, AAA, gold plated, and at the end of the day, like currencies that say they're backed by gold. Hey, we're backed by real estate. So it is definitely, I think, an exciting place to be. We're having said that, we do think this is a long-term bet. We're not in here for the short term. If somebody's saying, are we going to pop 10x on day one? If that's why you're getting onto this, I'm going to say, please don't invest. Please do not invest in the FOHO coin, because we're looking for people that are convinced of the platform, and in the long run, we will all be ahead if we just. So we're here for the marathon, not the sprint. So I just want to make that clear as well to everybody listening. So this is a marathon, stock is a marathon business, and not a sprint.
Thank you for that. And it's very true. And now that we see a lot of pump and dumps and whatnot, we want to build a strong community. We want to build a strong product that people support and people use in real life. So we noticed that the real estate industry now is getting tighter and tighter, especially in the centralized world, for people to buy and people to sell as well, because of the high prices. So I think something like this is definitely necessary as businesses shift to the decentralized world, as investors shift to blockchain use cases and whatnot. And on to our last question to wrap it up. Is there anything exciting you'd like to share today?
Yeah, as mentioned, I think we are we are going to announce. So, I mean, we are announcing over the next few days our advisors. We're happy to announce that the legal counsel for the Toronto Real Estate Board has joined our board of advisors, David Musavi. We are going to announce one of the largest, one of the most influential people on the Community Management Association, who's kind of the godfather of community management and property management, will also be joining our board shortly. And as I said, we have done a deal where one of the leading co-working spaces will accept the FOHO coin as payment for co-working spaces and office space, etc., rentals on the platform. So there are many things that we're excited about. It's a phenomenal time. It's a time of great opportunity. A lot of governments are trying to attract investment into their countries, and real estate is the best form of investment, especially real estate when merged with tourism. So we're seeing a lot of requests from governments who have come in and said that, hey, how do we get the FOHO investors and how do we get FOHO to put some of that capital into creating real estate in our country and bringing jobs and bringing tourism to our country. So all of this will come on the platform, and we hope that it will bring in really great, fantastic real estate into the world. Vijay, do you want to share some more?
Yes, and Slate, I am a very strong believer of the roaring 20s. Okay, so we've had the COVID-19 happen. There's a lot of pent up demand, and I think the new world, the millennials of the world, they're looking to not just buy property in their backyard or in their city. They're saying, I want to buy a piece of property in New York. I want to buy a piece of property in Tel Aviv. I want to buy a piece of property, and it's possible. We are going to make that possible. So it's going to be a whole new world that is going to look at property differently. It doesn't have to be the same way your parents did it. It doesn't have to be the way that, and here's the way, this is where it's true democratization. It doesn't have to be how the rich guys do it. Okay, the rich guys do it a certain way because they have that kind of funds. Now, you could be sitting at a dinner table in New Delhi, and that guy that boasts, I have a villa in Goa or I have a farmhouse in Shimla, hey, you can sit on the same table and say, I have both those, and I have a condominium overlooking Central Park in New York as well. So guess what? Truly democratizes real estate investment and usage.
Great stuff. And, first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for coming here and taking your time to really tackle your project with us and give us a dissect it and give us an idea of what your project's about. I'm sure many people also have other questions that were unanswered. We will be posting, once this finishes, once the live stream finishes, we'll be posting it on YouTube. And we will be posting as well below the social links to FOHO Coin. You will be able to join the Telegram group, and you'll be able to ask any question you like. And the admins there, alongside Vijay and Roshan, will be able to answer them as well.
Absolutely. And just wanted to add, the last, if any of you do, you just want to feel the waters, open up an account on BitBNS, which is the exchange that we're on for the IEO. You invest 10 USDT for 100 coins. It's 10 cents a coin. BitBNS will give you 50 coins for free. Tell me someplace where you invest $10 and get $5 back right away. So that's a promotion out there right now. So please go in. We're expecting you to buy more than 100 coins. But if you buy only 100 coins, you get 50 coins for sure.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Slate.
Take it easy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Roshan. See ya. And there you have it, guys.